Welcome back to Shadow Park Channel, home of stories. If you're new here, please subscribe, like and share for more stories like this. Straight into our story, titled, The Rejected Alpha's Mate. Part 1, The Blood Moon Ceremony. The drums began long before the moon rose. Low, steady, echoing across the valley, they made the earth itself seem alive. Wolves stirred in every den, every cave, every corner of the mountain range, answering the call. It was not just sound. It was tradition older than memory, stronger than blood. The blood moon ceremony had come. Elena stood at the far edge of the clearing, her thin cloak wrapped tightly around her shoulders though the night air was warm. She pressed herself against a tall pine tree, hidden in shadow, and tried to steady her breath. Every year she came, though no one noticed her. She was not supposed to matter. An orphaned Omega who had grown up sweeping floors in the Silverfang Pack's kitchen was no one's pride. She had no bloodline to boast of, no warrior scars, no rank. Her life had always been small, quiet, and careful. But tonight felt different. Even before the ceremony began, her wolf stirred restlessly inside her. Her skin tingled as if fire ran beneath it, her chest tightened, and a strange whisper seemed to curl around her bones. The blood moon had always been a symbol of destiny, a night when the goddess revealed bonds and shifted fates, but Elena had never believed it could touch her. She thought she would simply watch again. She thought she would remain invisible. She was wrong. The clearing filled with pack after pack, their banners raised, their warriors armored in dark leather and fur. Torches circled the great stone altar at the center, their flames climbing high into the sky. Above, the moon was swollen and red, so large it seemed to press against the earth itself. The alphas stood nearest the altar. They were giants compared to most wolves, taller, broader, their auras burning with power. Their presence alone could silence a crowd, and together, they seemed carved of shadow and flame. But one figure drew every gaze. Alpha Kale of the Dark Fang Pack. Even among alphas, Kale was different. His reputation stretched across every mountain and valley. He had never lost a challenge. His enemies feared him, and his allies respected him with trembling loyalty. Ruthless, cold, unyielding, that was Kale. His warriors called him the Iron Wolf, and no one dared cross him. He stood with his arms folded, dark hair falling into his sharp, unforgiving face, his silver eyes glowing faintly under the moonlight. His mere stillness carried weight. He did not need to move to be dangerous. He was danger itself. Elena should not have looked at him. Omegas were supposed to keep their heads bowed, eyes lowered, bodies small. But her gaze betrayed her. Slowly, like a moth drawn to fire, she looked up, and her eyes met his. The world shifted. Her chest seized as if struck. Heat surged through her body, so sudden it stole her breath. The drumbeats vanished. The crowd's noise faded. All she felt was him, his scent sharp and wild like smoke and pine, his power pressing against her, his eyes locking onto hers with a force that pinned her where she stood. And deep inside her wolf howled. The bond. Elena stumbled back against the tree. No, it couldn't be. She was an Omega, unwanted, unseen. The mate bond belonged to warriors, to powerful she-wolves who carried pride in their blood. Not her. Never her. But the goddess had chosen. She knew at the instant her wolf cried out in recognition. Kale was her mate. Her heart raced wildly, and tears burned her eyes, not of joy but of terror. What would he do? Would he accept it? Could he? Kale's jaw tightened. His body stilled further, if that was even possible. And though his face betrayed nothing, his eyes betrayed everything: shock, anger, denial. The whispers began before he spoke. She's his mate. An Omega? Impossible. The crowd rippled with disbelief. Warriors sneered. Some laughed under their breath. Even the other alphas turned, brows raised, as though eager to watch what would happen next. Kale took one step forward. The weight of his aura crashed over the clearing. Even warriors bowed under it. Elena could barely breathe. Her knees wanted to buckle, but she fought to remain upright. If she fell now, she would never rise again. His voice rang out, cold and sharp as a blade. I reject you. The words ripped through the air. Elena's heart shattered. I, Alpha Kale of the Dark Fang Pack, he continued, his silver eyes blazing with contempt, reject this bond. The moon goddess has made a mistake. I will not take an Omega as my mate. The rejection hit like fire in her chest, burning, tearing. Her wolf let out a broken cry inside her, clawing at the edges of her soul. She pressed a hand to her stomach, gasping as if stabbed, but no one cared. Laughter rose from the edges of the circle. Gasps followed. Rejected by her mate on the blood moon. She'll never recover. Poor thing. Elena wanted the earth to swallow her whole. But even in that agony, She forced herself not to fall, not to scream. She stood trembling, her nails digging into her palms, her tears burning but unshed. If he wanted her broken, she would not give him the satisfaction. Cale turned away. Just like that. As though she was less than nothing. The ceremony continued. Oaths sworn, fires lit, wolves howling into the night, but Elena heard none of it. Her world had collapsed with 3 words. She drifted on numb legs, walking into the shadows, until the trees swallowed her from sight. She sat on a fallen log at the forest's edge, staring at the dirt, her chest aching with every breath. How could the goddess be so cruel? Why show her something she could never have? Why give her a bond only to tear it away? A twig snapped. Elena jerked her head up, wiping quickly at her eyes. A man stepped from the shadows. Tall, strong, with golden eyes that gleamed like fire under the moonlight. His smile was slow, sharp, dangerous in its charm. Damien. Alpha of the Crimson Claw Pack. He was Cale's rival in every way. Where Cale was ice, Damien was flame. Where Cale ruled with fear, Damien ruled with charisma. He was clever, ambitious, unpredictable. And now his gaze was fixed on her. I saw what happened, he said softly, stepping closer. Cale is a fool. Elena's throat tightened. She stood quickly, wrapping her cloak tighter. You shouldn't. Shouldn't what? Damien interrupted, smirking. Talk to you? Look at you? You think you're invisible, little wolf, but you're not. I saw the way you stood. You didn't break, even when he cut you down. His eyes narrowed, a gleam of something darker in them. That makes you stronger than you know. Her heart pounded. She shook her head. He rejected me. The bond is broken. The bond cannot be broken so easily, Damien said, stepping close enough that his heat brushed against her skin. The goddess chose you for a reason. If Cale is too blind to see it, then I will. Elena froze. His words tangled her thoughts, ignited her fear, and something else she dared not name. Damien's gaze softened, though his smirk remained. You deserve more than rejection, Elena. You deserve a place at someone's side. And if Cale will not claim you, he leaned closer, his voice a whisper of fire. Then I will. Her breath caught. His closeness was overwhelming, confusing. She opened her mouth, but before she could speak, a deep growl rolled through the trees. Both of them turned. Cale stood at the tree lean, silver eyes blazing like moonfire, his aura filling the forest with crushing weight. Stay away from her, he snarled, his voice edged with fury. Damien chuckled low in his chest, unbothered. You rejected her, Cale. She is free. Or have you changed your mind already? Elena's heart hammered. The air between the 2 alphas crackled like a storm waiting to break. Her soul was torn between fire and ice, between the mate who had shattered her and the rival who wanted to claim her. And under the blood-red moon, Elena realized one terrible truth. The goddess had not made a mistake. She had set a trap. And Elena was at the center of it. Part 2: Shadows of Rejection. The forest did not sleep that night. Elena could still hear the drums fading far behind her, though the sound seemed distant, muffled, as if the whole world had been wrapped in cotton. Her body felt heavy, her heart torn open. The mate bond was supposed to be a blessing. For her, it was a curse. She stumbled deeper into the woods, far from the clearing, her cloak dragging across roots and fallen leaves. Her wolf whimpered inside her, restless and wounded. Every step burned. Every breath cut. The rejection still seared her chest like a wound that would not heal. She pressed her palm to the rough bark of a tree and whispered through clenched teeth. Why me? Why him? Why this? But the goddess gave no answer. Behind her, Cale had not moved at first. When he had snarled at Damien to keep away, it had not been for her sake. At least, that was what he told himself. It was for order. For control. He could not allow his rival to make a mockery of him in front of others. Yet even as he turned back toward the ceremony, something gnawed at him. The sight of Elena's trembling form, the pain in her eyes when he spoke those words. I reject you, it haunted him. Cale clenched his fists as he walked through the crowd. Warriors lowered their heads, afraid to meet his gaze. None dared question his decision aloud, though he knew the whispers would spread like fire. An alpha rejecting his fated mate was rare. But rejecting her in front of every pack, during the blood moon, was nearly unheard of. Some would call it strength. Others would call it weakness. And Cale hated that he cared at all. Damien, meanwhile, had not followed Elena. He stayed just long enough to watch Cale's fury crack the night air, then smiled to himself. His golden eyes gleamed with calculation. This will be fun, he muttered. For Damien, the blood moon had given a gift. Not the goddess's bond, no, but an opportunity. He saw the wound Cale had left open, and Damien never wasted such things. By dawn, the ceremony was over. The wolves returned to their camps, their laughter and talk carrying on the wind. Elena stayed in the woods, curled against the base of a tree, her cloak drawn tight as though it could shield her from the world. She had not slept. Her mind replayed the rejection again and again. His voice, his eyes, the way the crowd laughed. Tears had dried on her cheeks, but her heart still ached. She felt broken in a way she could not explain. Lena? The voice startled her. She lifted her head to see a girl approaching through the trees. Small, with bright auburn hair and freckles that glowed in the early sun. Marin, Elena whispered. Relief swept through her chest. Marin was her only true friend. They had grown up together in the pack, two invisible omegas who survived by leaning on each other. Marin knelt quickly and wrapped her arms around Elena. I heard. I came as fast as I could. Elena stiffened at first, then sank into the embrace, the warmth breaking something inside her. She shook her head, her voice raw. He rejected me. In front of everyone. Marin's grip tightened. That monster. How could he do that? The goddess herself. He said she made a mistake. Elena cut in, her voice bitter. Marin pulled back, her eyes flashing. The goddess doesn't make mistakes. He's just too blind to see. Elena gave a hollow laugh. Or maybe she does. Why else would she tie me to someone like him? Marin shook her head firmly. No. Don't blame yourself. This is on him. And you're not alone, Lena. You still have me. For the first time that night, Elena felt a thread of comfort. But it was thin. The rejection still burned. Not far away, Cale stood on the balcony of the Dark Fong Camp's hall, his silver eyes watching the forest. He had not slept either. His wolf paced inside him, restless and furious. Why did you reject her? His wolf growled. She is ours. She is weak. Cale answered aloud, though no one else could hear. An omega. She cannot stand beside me. She stood last night, the wolf snarled back. She did not fall. Cale's jaw tightened. The image of her trembling but unbroken body rose again in his mind. The way her eyes had locked onto his, afraid yes but strong. The bond had burned between them, undeniable. And yet he had denied it. Because to accept her would mean risk. Weakness. A chink in the armor he had built all his life. He could not afford that. He turned sharply, forcing the thought away. There was work to do. His enemies would use this against him, and Cale would be ready. Damien's camp was alive with laughter and music. The Crimson Claw thrived on chaos, and their alpha encouraged it. But when the noise faded in his tent, Damien sat alone with a map spread before him. His finger traced the mountains that separated his pack from Cale's. Rejected, humiliated, wounded, Damien murmured. She's the crack in his wall. And cracks can be widened. He remembered the look in Elena's eyes when he spoke to her. The way she had listened, desperate for comfort. She could be turned. She could be sharpened into something dangerous. And Damien loved dangerous things. By the second night, Elena forced herself to return to the pack house. She could not hide in the forest forever. Marin walked with her, holding her hand tight, whispering reassurances. But as soon as they stepped into the pack yard, silence fell. Every pair of eyes turned toward her. Warriors paused mid-step. Kitchen staff froze in their work. Murmurs rose like smoke. That's her. The rejected mate. Poor thing. She'll never find peace now. Elena's throat closed. Shame burned through her, sharper than knives. She kept her head low and hurried inside, but the whispers followed. Marin squeezed her hand harder. Ignore them. They don't know anything. But Elena knew whispers had power. They spread like wildfire, faster than truth, harder to kill. Soon every pack in the mountains would know her shame. That night, as she tried to sleep in the small corner room she shared with Marin, Elena heard a soft tap at the window. She sat up frowning. The tap came again. Cautiously, she rose and pushed the curtain aside. Her breath caught. Damien stood outside, his golden eyes gleaming in the dark. He smiled up at her, raising a finger to his lips for silence. Elena's heart raced. What was he doing here? If Cale's warriors caught him, it would mean blood. She hesitated, but something in his gaze pulled her. Slowly, she unlocked the window. You shouldn't be here, she whispered. Maybe not, Damien murmured, his voice smooth. But I couldn't stay away. Her chest tightened. If Cale finds out. He already rejected you, Damien cut in softly. You owe him nothing. You're free, Elena. Free to choose who sees your worth. Her breath hitched. The way he said her name made her stomach twist with heat and confusion. She knew this was dangerous. She knew he had his own reasons. But his words, they made her feel seen. Before she could answer, Maren stirred in her sleep. Elena froze, her heart hammering. Damien smirked and whispered, "I'll find you again." Then he slipped back into the night. Elena stood by the window long after, trembling. She knew she was walking a dangerous path. Between Cale's rejection and Damien's fire, she was being pulled in two directions. But deep inside, a darker thought grew. If Cale thought she was weak, maybe one day she would prove him wrong. And that day might come sooner than anyone expected. Don't forget to subscribe, like and share. Part 3. The Alpha's Rival. The moon hung low, silver and sharp, as though it watched the world with cold judgment. Elena could not sleep. She lay awake in the small room, staring at the wooden ceiling while Maren's soft breathing filled the silence. But inside Elena's chest, her heart beat too fast. She still felt Damien's presence from the night before, his golden eyes burning into her. She hated that she remembered the way he said her name. She hated that it made her feel wanted, even if only for a moment. But worse than all of it, she hated the way Cale's rejection still echoed inside her like a wound that refused to close. At the same hour, Cale prowled the edge of his territory. His wolf was restless, pulling him toward something he did not want to name. He told himself it was duty, a need to protect his land, his pack. But deep down he knew the truth. His wolf wanted Elena. His wolf burned for her, clawing at him with need. "You pushed her away," the wolf growled inside his head. "But she is ours." "She is nothing," Cale hissed under his breath. "An omega with no strength, no power. And yet you cannot stop thinking of her." Cale's jaw tightened. He hated when his wolf was right. Then like a blade to the gut, Cale felt it. The bond snapped alive, sharp and undeniable. Someone was close to Elena. Someone dangerous. A growl ripped from his throat, his claws digging into bark. He did not think. He moved. Back in the pack house, Elena slipped outside, drawn by the pull of night air. She told herself she only needed to breathe, to be away from whispers and eyes that judged her. But when she reached the edge of the trees, she froze. Damien stood waiting. He leaned against a tree, his golden eyes glowing, his smile sharp and dangerous. "I knew you'd come." Her heart thudded painfully. "You shouldn't be here," she whispered. "Shouldn't I?" Damien stepped closer. "Tell me, Elena, did Cale follow you when you ran? Did he comfort you after he broke you?" Her throat tightened. She shook her head, unable to lie. Damien tilted his head, his gaze burning into her. "That's because he doesn't deserve you. But I," his hand brushed her cheek, gentle yet fierce. "I would never throw you away." Heat rushed through her, unwanted but strong. She stepped back quickly, her voice trembling. "You don't even know me." Damien's smile widened. "Not yet. But I want to." Branches snapped. A shadow burst from the trees, silver eyes blazing. "Cale." Elena's heart leapt to her throat. His presence filled the clearing, raw and terrifying, his wolf on the edge of breaking free. "What are you doing here?" Cale's voice was low, venomous, directed at Damien. Damien chuckled, unbothered. "Taking what you clearly don't value." A snarl ripped from Cale's chest. "She is mine." Elena's stomach twisted. His words seared her. Not from love, but from rage and possession. "You rejected her," Damien reminded him smoothly. "You told the world she was nothing. So now she can choose who she wants. Isn't that right, Elena?" Both alphas turned to her. Her breath caught. Her hands shook. The weight of their eyes crushed her. She wanted to scream. She wanted to vanish. She wanted to belong, but she did not know to whom. Cale took a step forward, silver eyes locked on her. "Come here," he ordered, his voice deep, commanding. Damien moved closer too, his tone softer but no less dangerous. "You don't have to obey him anymore. Come to me, Elena. Let me show you freedom." Her heart pounded. The bond with Cale burned inside her like fire, pulling her toward him even as she hated it. Damien's gaze, on the other hand, offered escape, but she could see the hunger in his smile, and it frightened her. I can't." The words died as Cale lunged at Damien. The clash shook the night. Claws tore at flesh, teeth snapped, growls thundered through the forest. Silver against gold, two powerful wolves colliding with brutal force. Trees splintered under their weight, the ground churned with blood and earth. Elena stumbled back, pressing against a tree, her breath ragged as she watched them tear into each other. Damien laughed even as Cale's claws ripped across his arm. "You only want her now because I do." Cale's snarl shook the trees. "She is mine by fate." Elena's eyes widened, her chest twisting. Fate. The word cut deep. But hadn't he already broken fate when he rejected her? The fight raged until the air was thick with the scent of blood. Damien finally stepped back, golden eyes glinting with amusement despite the wounds on his body. "This isn't over," he growled. His gaze flicked to Elena, slow and deliberate. "I'll come for you again. And next time you'll choose me." With that, he vanished into the trees, leaving silence and blood behind. Cale stood in the clearing, chest heaving, his silver eyes locked on Elena. She trembled under his stare, anger and longing twisting inside her. "Why are you doing this?" she whispered, her voice breaking. "You rejected me. You told the world I was nothing. And now you fight for me like I matter." Cale's fists clenched, his jaw hard. He said nothing at first. Then his voice low and rough. "Because you do matter. To me. Even if I don't want you to." Her heart twisted, tears stinging her eyes. But before she could answer, he turned and walked away, leaving her alone in the dark. Back in the pack house, Elena's hands still shook as she climbed into bed. Marin stirred, her sleepy voice soft. "Where were you?" Elena froze. For a moment, she thought of telling her. But the words stuck. The fight, the bond, Damien's promise. It was too much. "Nowhere," Elena whispered, lying down. "Just needed air." But deep down she knew the truth. She was trapped in something bigger than herself. A storm of fate, rivalry, and desire that would only grow darker from here. And she feared that when it ended, someone she cared for would not survive. Part 4: Secrets of the Moonstone. The next morning, sunlight spilled across the mountains, warm and golden, but Elena felt no warmth. Her hands still shook when she remembered Cale's voice. "Because you do matter. To me." She hated that those words clung to her heart like chains. She hated that her chest ached whenever she thought of him. And she hated that Damien's golden eyes haunted her dreams, whispering promises she did not know if she could trust. It was as if she were torn in half, one side bound by fate, the other pulled by danger. And yet, in the middle of it all, a deeper question burned inside her. Who was she really? Marin noticed her silence. They sat outside the pack house, peeling fruit in the morning sun. Marin's freckles glowed, but her smile was faint, worried. "You've barely spoken since the blood moon," Marin said softly. "What's going on, Lena?" Elena lowered her gaze. She wanted to tell her everything. About Cale's fight with Damien, about the bond that refused to die, about the way her chest burned with every glance from either alpha. But the words tangled in her throat. Instead, she whispered, "Do you ever wonder about the past? About who we really are?" Marin frowned. "Why are you asking?" "Because," Elena hesitated, her heart racing. "I never knew my parents. The pack always said they were just Omegas who died in a raid. But sometimes I feel different. Like there's more to me than what I was told." Marin's eyes softened. "Lena, maybe that's just your heart speaking. You've been through so much." But Elena shook her head. "No. It's more. Something inside me is changing. I feel it." Marin reached for her hand and squeezed it tight. "Then whatever it is, we'll face it together." Elena managed a small smile, but deep inside, doubt gnawed at her. That night, Elena wandered the forest again, unable to sleep. The trees whispered with the wind, shadows dancing across her path. She should have been afraid, but instead, she felt drawn forward, as though something called to her. Her steps carried her to the edge of the old ruins, stones half buried in moss, the remnants of a temple long forgotten. She had never been here before. Yet the moment she stepped closer, her chest tightened. A voice whispered inside her mind, soft and ancient. "Daughter of the moon." Elena gasped, stumbling back. But the ruins pulsed faintly, a soft glow shining through cracks in the stone. Her heart thundered. She reached out, fingers brushing the moss. And then she saw it, a shard of crystal buried beneath the roots. It glowed silver blue, humming with power. Her breath caught. She had never seen anything like it. "Elena!" She spun around, her heart leaping to her throat. Cale stood in the shadows, silver eyes gleaming. "What are you doing here?" she demanded, her voice sharp with fear. "I should ask you the same," Cale said, stepping closer. His gaze flicked to the glowing shard. His face darkened. "Do you know what that is?" Elena shook her head. "No, but it feels alive." Cale's jaw tightened. "It's part of the moonstone, a relic of the goddess herself. It was lost centuries ago." Her eyes widened. "The moonstone? But why would it be here?" Cale's gaze locked on her, fierce and unyielding. "That's the question, isn't it? Why would it appear only when you came near?" Her chest tightened, fear and confusion swirling. "You think I did this? That I'm some kind of thief?" Cale stepped closer, lowering his voice. "No. I think it's tied to you. Your blood, your soul. You're not who you think you are, Elena. The ground seemed to shift beneath her feet. What are you saying? That you may not be an Omega at all? Her breath hitched. The world tilted. Not an Omega? But all her life, that was what she had been told. Weak, small, unwanted. Stop, she whispered, shaking her head. You're lying. You're trying to confuse me. Kale's eyes softened just slightly. I wish I was. But I can feel it. And if I can, so can others. You're in danger, Elena. More than you know. Before she could answer, a new voice cut through the night. Well, what do we have here? Elena froze. Damien stepped from the trees, his golden eyes glinting. His smile was sharp as a blade. The lost shard of the moonstone, and the girl who woke it. Kale snarled, moving in front of Elena. Stay back, Damien. Damien's chuckle was low, dangerous. So it's true. I thought you were hiding something, Kale. And now I see why you've been circling this girl like a starving wolf. He stepped closer, his gaze shifting to Elena. Do you even know what you've done, little one? The moonstone grants power beyond any alpha's wildest dream. And you carry its call. Her body shook. I don't want power, she whispered. Damien's smile widened. But power wants you. And I want it too. Kale's growl shook the night. If you touch her, you'll bleed. The tension snapped like lightning. The two alphas clashed again, their fury exploding across the ruins. Silver against gold, teeth and claws ripping through the night. Sparks flew as Kale slammed Damien into stone, while Damien's claws tore across Kale's chest. Elena stumbled back, the shard glowing brighter with every blow, pulsing with her heartbeat. She clutched her head, pain searing through her. The stone was calling to her, screaming inside her veins. Stop, she cried, but her voice was lost in the chaos. Blood splattered across the moss. Kale staggered, Damien snarled, the air thick with rage and power. Then with a blinding flash the shard flared. Both alphas froze, thrown back by the force. Elena collapsed to her knees, gasping as the glow poured into her skin, sinking deep into her blood. When the light faded, silence fell. Kale and Damien both stared at her, their chests heaving, their eyes wide. Elena, Kale whispered. His voice was rough, almost reverent. It chose you. Damien's golden eyes burned hotter, sharper. His smile twisted with hunger. Or maybe you were born to wield it. Either way, the game just changed. That night, Elena could not sleep. She sat by the small window, staring at the moon, her hands trembling. The shard was gone, absorbed into her. She could feel it, a pulse under her skin, alive and terrifying. Marin stirred, half asleep. Lena, what's wrong? Elena whispered back, her voice breaking. I think I'm not who I thought I was. And if I'm right, the whole world is about to change. Part 5, The Bond of Desire. Elena could not stop shaking. The shard of the moonstone was gone, yet she could still feel it, beating inside her like a second heart. Every breath felt heavy, her skin tingled with strange fire, and her dreams were filled with shadows she did not understand. But what shook her the most was the way both Kale and Damien looked at her after the light faded. Not as an Omega, not as a weak, unwanted girl, but as something more, something powerful, something dangerous. The next morning, Kale found her by the lake, where the water rippled like glass. His silver eyes held shadows of the night before. You should have stayed away from the ruins, he said softly, but his tone carried weight. Elena turned sharply. And if I did? The shard still called to me. It wanted me, Kale. That's the problem. His jaw tightened, his muscles coiled. The moonstone doesn't choose lightly. If it tied itself to you, then every alpha, every rival, every wolf will want to claim you. Her chest ached. Even you. The question slipped out before she could stop it. Kale froze. His eyes burned with something raw. Desire. Hunger. Pain. Elena, he whispered, stepping closer. You don't understand what you've done to me. The world seemed to stop. His hand lifted, brushing her cheek, rough but tender. She should have pulled away, but her body betrayed her. Her skin heated, her breath quickened. Kale, she whispered, her voice breaking. His lips hovered inches from hers, trembling with restraint. You are mine, Elena. No matter what fate says. No matter what anyone tries to do. You're mine. And then his lips crashed against hers. The kiss was fire, wild and consuming, and her body melted against him. She clutched his shirt, her chest pressed to his, the bond pulling them closer, deeper, until she thought she would drown in him. Every part of her screamed to resist, to run, but the moonstone pulsed inside her, as if it wanted this too. But fate was cruel. A sharp voice cut through the forest. Well, isn't this sweet? Elena broke away, her breath ragged. Damien stood at the edge of the trees, golden eyes gleaming with wicked delight. Cale growled, stepping in front of her. Leave. Damien smirked. Why should I? She's not marked by you. She's free. His eyes locked on Elena, hot and dangerous. And maybe she wants more than one alpha fighting over her. Elena's stomach twisted, heat rushing through her, shame mixing with anger. Stop, she whispered. But Damien only stepped closer, voice low and sharp like a blade. You feel it too, don't you, Elena? The pull. The power. The fire inside you doesn't belong to him alone. Her body trembled. She hated him. She wanted to deny it. But some part of her, the part that pulsed with the shard's fire, ached when he looked at her. Cale bared his teeth. If you touch her, I'll tear you apart. Damien laughed softly. Careful, brother. Hate and desire are closer than you think. She'll learn that soon enough. And with that, he vanished into the trees, leaving only silence behind. That night, Elena tossed in her bed, her body burning with restless heat. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw Cale's silver eyes, felt his lips, his touch. But then Damien's golden gaze haunted her too, whispering dark promises she couldn't ignore. She pressed her face to her pillow, tears slipping free. What's happening to me? The next days blurred. The pack trained for the coming trials, and Elena tried to lose herself in routine. But everywhere she went, eyes followed her. Whispers of the moonstone's glow spreading like fire. Even her friends, Marin and Jace, grew distant, uneasy. People are scared of you, Lena, Marin admitted one night. They think you're cursed. Do you? Elena whispered. Marin looked away. I don't know what to think anymore. The words cut deeper than any blade. Cale, however, refused to leave her side. He pushed her to train harder, to test the strength now burning in her veins. Every touch lingered, every glance burned. One night after training, sweat dripping from their bodies, Cale caught her wrist. You can't keep running from this, he growled softly, his breath hot against her ear. Her chest heaved. From what? From us. His lips claimed hers again, fiercer this time, his hands pulling her against him. She gasped, melting into the kiss, the fire inside her roaring. His touch traced her skin like sparks, and she felt herself unraveling, piece by piece. But even as she clung to him, a shadow loomed in her mind. Damien's smirk. His words. Hate and desire are closer than you think. The bond with Cale was strong, but the pull toward Damien was real too. And it terrified her. Days later, the rivalry exploded again. Cale and Damien faced each other in the training grounds, their pack watching. The air was sharp with tension. Still clinging to her? Damien sneered. How long before she realizes she wants more than your chains? Cale's growl shook the earth. She will never want you. Damien's gaze slid to Elena, and his smile widened. Are you sure about that? Elena's breath hitched. The entire pack's eyes burned into her. She wanted to scream, to vanish. Instead, she felt the shard's fire stir in her blood, whispering of choices and power. And for the first time, she wondered if maybe Damien was right. Maybe she didn't belong to either of them. Maybe they belonged to her. Part 6, Web of Betrayal. The night was cold, yet Elena's skin burned. She stood alone by the cliffside, the wind whipping through her hair, the full moon hanging above like a glowing curse. Her chest rose and fell, her mind still torn between Cale's fierce kiss and Damien's dangerous gaze. But it wasn't just the brothers pulling her apart. It was something deeper, something inside her. The shard of the moonstone beat inside her chest like a second heart, whispering in a voice only she could hear. Choose. Burn. Break. Her fists clenched. I don't even know who I am anymore. The next day, whispers spread like fire. 2 scouts had been found dead near the eastern border, their throats ripped out. The pack was restless, fear sharpening their voices. And somehow, their eyes kept drifting to Elena. She brought this curse, one woman muttered as Elena passed. Ever since the blood moon, nothing has been right. Elena's chest tightened, but she kept walking. She was used to whispers, used to stares. But this felt different. This felt dangerous. When she finally found Marin and Jace near the training grounds, she forced a smile. Hey, she said softly. Please tell me you don't believe them. Marin bit her lip, avoiding Elena's eyes. Jace shifted uncomfortably. Elena, Marin whispered. You've changed. You don't feel the same anymore. You scare people. You even scare me sometimes. The words struck harder than claws. Scare you. Elena's voice broke. I'm still me, Marin. I'm still your friend. But Marin only looked away, her silence louder than any scream. That night, Cale came to her room, his face hard with determination. "You can't stay here," he said, his voice sharp. "The pack is turning against you." Elena rose to her feet. "So what do you want me to do? Run? Hide? Let them hate me forever?" Cale stepped closer, his silver eyes burning. "No. I want you to fight. I want you to show them who you are. You are not weak, Elena. You are not cursed. You are chosen." Her breath caught. His words lit something inside her. But even as he spoke, a knock came at the door. It swung open, and Damien stood there, his golden eyes glinting with cold fire. "Funny," he said smoothly. "I was about to tell her the same thing." Cale growled low in his throat. "Get out." Damien smirked. "Or what? You'll fight me again in front of the whole pack? You think they'll still follow you once they know you can't even control your human girl?" Elena's chest tightened. "Stop it. Both of you." But the brothers ignored her, their rage filling the room like smoke. Finally, Damien's eyes snapped to Elena, his voice sharp as a blade. "You think Cale can protect you? You think he'll tell you the truth?" Her pulse quickened. "What truth?" Cale stiffened, his jaw tight. Damien's smile curved, cruel and knowing. "He hasn't told you who you really are, has he?" The room spun. "What are you talking about?" Elena demanded, her voice shaking. Cale's face darkened. "Enough, Damien." But Damien stepped closer, his words striking like thunder. "She's not just some orphan. She's not just human. Her bloodline is older than ours, older than the pack. She carries the blood of the first moon priestess, the one who created the bond between wolves and the moonstone." Elena's breath left her body. "That's why the shard chose her," Damien finished softly. "That's why she burns with power no wolf can control." Her heart pounded, the world tilting beneath her. "You're lying." But Cale's silence told her everything. "You knew," she whispered, tears filling her eyes. "You knew and you didn't tell me." Cale's hands clenched at his sides. "I wanted to protect you." "Protect me?" Her voice cracked. "Or control me?" She shoved past him, her tears blinding her as she ran into the night. The forest swallowed her whole, the shadows whispering, the shard burning inside her. She didn't know where she was going, only that she couldn't stay. "Elena!" Cale's voice echoed behind her, but she didn't stop. Not until she stumbled into someone waiting in the dark. Damien. His golden eyes glowed like fire, his smile sharp. "I told you," he whispered. "You don't belong to him. You never did. You belong to yourself. And if you let me, I'll show you what that really means." Her heart raced, torn between fury and longing. She hated him. She needed him. And as he reached out his hand, she wondered if this was the moment everything would change. Part 7. Shadows of the Heart. The forest was silent except for her pounding heart. Elena stood frozen before Damien, his golden eyes burning through her like fire. The night air was cold, yet her skin prickled with heat. His hand hovered between them, open, waiting. Her chest rose and fell. "Why should I trust you?" Damien's smile was slow, dangerous. "Because I'm the only one who isn't lying to you." The words sliced deeper than claws. Cale's silence, his secrets, they echoed inside her, heavy and bitter. She wanted to scream at both of them, to run until the forest swallowed her whole. Instead, her hand trembled, and she placed it in Damien's. The world seemed to shift. The bond between them snapped tight like lightning, sharp and undeniable. Her knees weakened as the shard inside her chest pulsed in answer, glowing faintly beneath her skin. Damien's gaze darkened. "There it is," he whispered. "The truth Cale never wanted you to feel." He pulled her closer, his breath brushing her ear. "Tell me, Elena, when you kissed him, did it feel like this?" His lips brushed the curve of her neck, soft at first, then hot, lingering. Her body betrayed her, arching toward him, fire racing through her veins. She hated him. She wanted him. Her whisper broke. "Stop." But he didn't. His lips claimed hers, rough and hungry, nothing like Cale's desperate tenderness. Damien's kiss was wild, demanding, a storm she couldn't escape. And the worst part was, she didn't want to. Her hands fisted in his shirt, pulling him closer as his arms wrapped around her, caging her in fire. The shard inside her blazed, and for one dangerous moment, she thought she might break apart. When he finally pulled back, his golden eyes gleamed with victory. "You can deny it all you want, Elena. But your soul knows the truth. You're mine as much as his." Her lips trembled, her chest heaving. "I hate you." He smiled, dark and wicked. "Good. Hate burns hotter than love." The moment shattered with a sound in the trees. "Elena!" Cale's voice roared, sharp and furious. Damien smirked as Kale stormed into the clearing, silver eyes blazing. Perfect timing. Kale's gaze fell on them, on her lips swollen from Damien's kiss, on the heat between their bodies, and his growl shook the earth. What did you do to her? He snarled. Only what you were too afraid to, Damien replied smoothly. Kale lunged, but Elena stepped between them, her hands raised. Stop it. Her voice cracked with desperation, her tears glinting in the moonlight. Both brothers froze, their eyes burning into her. I can't do this, she whispered. I can't be pulled apart like this. Her chest ached as the shard pulsed violently, glowing brighter. The ground trembled beneath her feet. Both Kale and Damien looked at her in shock. Elena, Kale whispered. You're losing control. She stumbled back, clutching her chest. The glow spread through her veins, her vision blurring. It's the shard, it's too strong. Damien's voice was calm, steady. Then stop fighting it. Stop fighting yourself. Kale's voice cut through, fierce and raw. No. You can control it, Elena. You're stronger than this. Their voices battled in her ears, pulling her in two directions. Her knees gave out, and she fell to the forest floor, screaming as the fire tore through her body. The last thing she heard before darkness claimed her was Kale shouting her name, and Damien's laughter. When she woke, she was no longer in the forest. The walls around her were stone, torches flickering. Her wrists were bound in silver chains, burning against her skin. She gasped in pain, pulling against them. A soft voice came from the shadows. Don't struggle. You'll only hurt yourself more. Marin stepped forward, her eyes full of guilt. Marin. Elena's voice broke. What are you doing here? Where am I? Marin looked away, her lips trembling. I'm sorry, Lena. I didn't have a choice. Elena's stomach twisted. Betrayal stung sharper than any chain. What did you do? She whispered. Marin's eyes filled with tears. I told them where to find you. Elena's blood ran cold. Footsteps echoed. A tall figure entered the chamber, his smile sharp and cruel. It wasn't Kale. It wasn't Damien. It was someone else. The true enemy finally revealed. Welcome, Elena, he said, his voice dark as night. We've been waiting for you. Part 8, The Enemy's Game. Elena's wrists burned from the silver chains. Every breath was sharp, every movement heavy. The chamber was cold, the air thick with the smell of damp stone and smoke. The man who entered was tall, with hair dark as midnight and eyes like black fire. His smile was thin, cruel, and too calm. You don't know me, he said softly, his voice echoing off the walls. But I know you, Elena. Her chest tightened. Who are you? He stepped closer, his cloak dragging against the floor. My name is Lucien. I was Alpha once, long before Kale and Damien were born. But their father cast me out. He feared me, because I knew the truth of the moonstone. Elena's stomach twisted. His gaze was sharp, heavy, as if he could see straight into her soul. You, Lucien said slowly, are the key. The blood of the moon priestess flows in you. The shard binds itself to your body. With you, I can take back what was stolen. With you, I can break the pacts and rebuild them under my rule. Her heart slammed against her ribs. You're insane. Lucien chuckled. No. I am patient. I have waited for this night for you for centuries. You will give me what I want, whether Kale and Damien like it or not. The chain seared her wrists, making her cry out. The shard pulsed wildly inside her chest, fighting the silver's bite. Lucien's eyes narrowed, fascinated. Yes, he whispered. It grows stronger. Soon it will tear you apart. Unless someone controls it. And that someone will be me. Her voice cracked. You'll never control me. Lucien smiled thinly. We shall see. Far away, Kale's roar shook the forest. He and Damien had tracked her scent for hours, following trails of blood and broken branches. When they reached the edge of Lucien's hidden lair, Kale's chest heaved with rage. She's inside, he growled, his claws digging into the dirt. Damien's golden eyes gleamed. Then let's not waste time. For once, the brothers didn't argue. Their hatred for each other was nothing compared to the thought of losing Elena. Back inside, Elena's chains clinked as Marin appeared again. Her face was pale, her eyes full of sorrow. Why, Marin? Elena's voice broke. Why would you betray me? Marin's lips trembled. Lucien promised safety. He said if I gave you to him, he'd spare me, and you'd be protected. Elena's chest ached. Protected? Look at me, Marin. Do I look safe to you? Tears spilled down Marin's cheeks. I'm sorry. I didn't know what else to do. Elena turned her face away, her voice sharp with pain. You were supposed to be my friend. The words hung heavy in the air. Maren broke down sobbing, but Elena felt nothing but hollow rage. Suddenly the walls shook. A thunderous roar echoed through the chamber. Lucien's smile faltered. They've come. Chains rattled as Elena struggled, her heart pounding. Cale. Damien. Moments later, the doors exploded open. Cale stormed in, silver eyes blazing, Damien at his side, golden light sparking around him. Let her go. Cale roared, his voice shaking the stone walls. Lucien only laughed. Ah, the brothers. Still playing the same game, I see. Fighting over what neither of you can control. Damien's lips curled. You're wrong. She chooses for herself. Elena's throat tightened. Both brothers stood there, powerful and furious, yet united for the first time. Lucien raised his hand, dark energy swirling. Then let us see if she chooses either of you or me. The torches flared, shadows spilling into monstrous shapes. The ground cracked beneath them, and the shard in Elena's chest blazed like fire. Her scream filled the chamber as the stone's power ripped through her, chains snapping. And in that blinding storm of light, the game truly began. Part 9: The Breaking of Bonds. The room shook as if the world itself was splitting apart. The chains around Elena burst into shards of silver. Sparks of fire and light danced across her skin. Her eyes glowed, one silver, one gold, the colors of Cale and Damien's bloodlines. She screamed, but the sound was not only hers. It was the voice of the moonstone itself, wild and endless, echoing through the chamber like 1,000 howls at once. Cale staggered back, his heart slamming in his chest. Elena! Damien shielded his face from the blast of light. She's losing control. Lucien only smiled, his cloak whipping in the storm. Yes, let it tear you apart. Let the stone burn every bond until nothing is left. Elena fell to her knees. The stone inside her pulsed faster, stronger, feeding on her fear. Her body was shaking, her veins glowing with fire. I can't stop it, she cried, her voice breaking. Cale ran forward, ignoring the cuts from the energy that sliced at his skin. You're stronger than this, Elena. Fight it. Don't let him win. Damien grabbed her other arm, his golden aura wrapping around her. You're not alone. Listen to me. Focus on my voice. Breathe. The storm grew worse, twisting the air, cracking the stone walls. Elena's tears turned into glowing drops that sizzled when they hit the ground. Her back arched as power surged out of her in waves. Lucien raised his hand, shadows curling from his palm. The bonds they give you are chains. Break them, Elena. With me you will be free. Elena's head snapped toward him, her glowing eyes wide. She felt the pull of his words, the dark promise hidden inside them. No pain. No fear. Just power. Her heart ached. But at what cost? Cale shouted above the roar. Don't listen to him. You are not his weapon. Damien's grip tightened. Elena, you're ours. You belong with us, not him. The words cut deep. Ours. Belong. But both voices pulled at her in different ways, and the shard inside her burned hotter. Suddenly, Maren rushed into the room. Her face was pale, her eyes wet with regret. Elena, she cried, dropping to her knees. Please forgive me. I was weak. I betrayed you. But don't let him take you. Don't let him win. Elena's power struck out, slamming Maren back against the wall. But Maren crawled forward again, blood on her lips. I don't care if you hate me. Just don't lose yourself. You are more than his game. You are more than their fight. You are you. The words pierced through the storm for a moment. Elena's chest heaved. Tears streamed down her glowing face. But Lucien's voice was louder. They only want to claim you, Elena. They want to chain you to their love, to their pacts, to their wars. I offer you freedom. Choose me, and no one will ever control you again. The shard pulsed wildly, as if answering him. The air shook with his power. Cale roared, slamming his fist into the ground. You won't take her. His body shifted, silver fur bursting from his skin. His wolf form stood tall, glowing like steel under moonlight. Damien followed, his golden wolf form shining like fire. The two brothers stood side by side, growls rumbling, eyes fixed on Lucien. Lucien only laughed. Pathetic. Still fighting over scraps. You will never understand. The stone was never meant for two. It was meant for one. And that one is me. Elena's scream filled the chamber again as the shard tore through her body. Her vision blurred. She saw Cale's wolf. Damien's wolf. Maren's broken form. Lucien's cold smile. Her heart broke in pieces. She wanted Cale's strength. She wanted Damien's warmth. She wanted Maren's friendship back. She wanted peace. But the stone wanted blood. The chamber floor split open. A dark chasm swallowing the ground. Flames and shadows burst out, devouring the walls. Elena rose into the air, her body glowing like a star, her hair floating in waves of light. The storm threw Cale and Damien back, slamming them against the stone. They struggled to rise, their bodies bleeding, their wolves snarling in pain. Maren crawled forward again, reaching out. Elena, please. Elena's hand trembled, caught between saving and destroying, love and hate, light and shadow. The bonds were breaking. She felt Cale's bond shatter like glass. Damien's fray into pieces. Maren's tear into nothing. Her chest burned as the shard screamed inside her. And then with one last cry, Elena's power exploded, drowning the chamber in blinding white fire. When the light faded, silence fell. The chains were gone. The floor was cracked. The torches were dead. Elena lay unconscious in the center, her body glowing faintly. Cale and Damien crawled toward her, their faces stricken with fear. But Lucien stood tall, untouched, his smile darker than ever. The bonds are broken, he whispered. Now she is mine. Part 10: The Final Claim. The chamber was silent after the storm. Smoke and dust filled the air. The stones of the ancient temple glowed faintly, cracked by Elena's outburst. Cale groaned as he pushed himself off the ground. His silver wolf form was wounded, his fur burned, his side bleeding. Damien staggered to his feet too, his golden eyes dim with exhaustion. Between them, Elena lay still. Her skin glowed faintly, her chest rising weakly. She looked fragile, like a candle about to be blown out. And standing over her was Lucien. His dark cloak swayed even though no wind moved. His eyes burned like fire. His smile was cruel, but his voice was soft, almost tender. She is free now, he whispered. Her bonds with you are gone. The stone has chosen. And soon she will be mine. Cale bared his teeth, a growl deep in his chest. Over my dead body. Damien stepped forward, golden flames licking at his hands. If you touch her, I will burn you down to ash. Lucien only laughed. The sound echoed against the broken walls. You fools. Do you not see? She doesn't belong to you anymore. She doesn't belong to anyone. Not even to herself. The moonstone has consumed her. And I am the only one who can control it. Elena stirred, her eyelids fluttering. She heard voices, but they sounded far away, like echoes in a dream. She saw Cale's silver glow, Damien's golden fire, Maren's broken face at the edge of her vision, and Lucien's shadow towering over her. Her heart ached. She wanted to reach for Cale's strength, for Damien's warmth. But when she tried, nothing answered. The bonds were gone. She felt empty, hollow, unanchored. Tears slid down her cheeks. Am I truly alone now? Lucien's voice filled her head, dark and smooth. Not alone. With me. You will never be weak again. No one will betray you. No one will chain you. You will be queen of shadow and flame. Elena's chest burned as the shard pulsed again. Cale moved first. He lunged, silver claws flashing, his wolf's roar shaking the chamber. Damien followed, golden fire blazing from his hands as he struck at Lucien. But Lucien raised his palm, and a wave of black shadow swept them both aside like children. Cale slammed into the wall, coughing blood. Damien fell to his knees, his flame smothered by darkness. Pathetic, Lucien hissed. You are nothing compared to me. She deserves better than weaklings bound by foolish love. Cale tried to rise, blood dripping from his mouth. She doesn't want you. Lucien sneered. And yet she looks at me. She hears me. And she listens. Elena's body shook. She wanted to deny it. She wanted to scream. But the shard inside her answered Lucien's pull. Her eyes glowed black and silver. No, she whispered. I don't want this. Lucien knelt beside her, his hand brushing her cheek. You want freedom. And I will give it to you. All you have to do is claim me in return. Maren crawled forward, her voice hoarse but desperate. Elena, don't. Please. He's lying. He will use you until nothing is left. Lucien's eyes flicked toward her, and with a flick of his wrist, shadows wrapped around Maren's throat, choking her. Elena gasped. Stop. Let her go. Lucien's smile widened. Then choose. Them or me. The room spun. Elena's heart raced. She looked at Cale, bloodied but still fighting to stand. She looked at Damien, his golden fire dimming but his eyes burning with devotion. She looked at Maren, choking yet still begging for her to resist. And then she looked at Lucien, the man who had once betrayed her pack, who had hunted her, who now offered her power beyond measure. Her soul screamed. The shard pulsed again, hotter than ever. Her body lifted from the ground, glowing black and silver fire spilling from her veins. Lucien raised his arms, his voice echoing. Yes. Let it consume you. Claim me as yours, and together we will rule. Kale shouted, his voice breaking. Elena, don't. You are not his. You are stronger than him. Damien's voice joined. We believe in you. Even without the bond, you are still ours. You are still you. Marin's strangled whisper barely reached her. Don't give in. Elena's scream tore through the chamber. Her power burst outward, throwing Lucien back. The shadows writhed, hissing as they recoiled. She landed on her feet, her eyes blazing silver and gold once more. No, she whispered. I am not yours. I will never be yours. Lucien's smile vanished. His face twisted with rage. Ungrateful wretch. He lunged, shadows rising like spears. But Kale roared, throwing himself in front of Elena. Damien joined, fire blazing. Marin, weak as she was, grabbed a broken blade and staggered to her feet. They stood as one, battered and broken, against the storm of shadow. The battle was chaos. Shadows clashed with fire and steel. Kale's claws ripped through the dark, his silver fur glowing with every strike. Damien's flames cut pathways of light, burning Lucien's power. Marin darted in and out, her blade slicing where she could, her courage shining despite her weakness. And Elena? Elena raised her hands, summoning the last of the stone's light. Her body burned, but she did not stop. Moon goddess, guide me, she whispered. The shard answered, glowing brighter than ever before. But this time, it was not rage or pain. It was clarity. It was choice. She turned to Kale and Damien. Give me your strength. Just once more. They nodded, no hesitation. Silver light from Kale. Golden fire from Damien. Both surged into her, filling her chest with warmth. Marin's broken voice joined, whispering prayers of forgiveness and friendship. Elena rose, her body shining like the full moon itself. Lucien froze, his eyes wide. No, no. That power is mine. He struck with all his strength, shadows crashing like a tidal wave. Elena spread her arms. Light burst from her, pure and endless, meeting the darkness head-on. The chamber shook. The stone cracked. The world seemed to split. Lucien screamed as the light burned through him. His shadows tore away, his cloak disintegrating, his body crumbling into ash. His last words were a howl of rage. She was mine. And then silence. The storm faded. The shadows were gone. Elena fell to her knees, exhausted. The shard inside her flickered, then shattered into dust, dissolving into the air. She gasped, clutching her chest. For the first time, she felt free. Truly free. Kale rushed to her, his arms wrapping around her. You did it. You're safe. Damien knelt beside them, his golden eyes soft. You saved us all. Marin collapsed, tears streaming down her face. I'm sorry for everything. Elena reached out, her hand weak but steady. You're forgiven, Marin. We all made mistakes. But tonight we chose to fight. The night was quiet when they left the ruins. The stars above shone brighter than ever, as if the moon goddess herself watched over them. Elena looked at Kale and Damien, both scarred, both bruised, both still hers in different ways. She did not know what the future held. Love, war, peace, or more storms. But she knew one thing. She was no longer the orphan girl lost in shadows. She was the Alpha's mate. The chosen of the Moonstone. The woman who broke the bonds and forged her own. And whatever came next, she would face it with fire, with light, and with love.